Okay guys, today we're going to work on the second step of close reading. Yesterday you did the summarization pyramid and we shared out, and then I handed out the excerpt and you went through and you answered the questions for homework and you annotated for homework. And everybody has that. I went around and checked. Great job. And so the first step is to talk about what we're really thinking about today. Our essential question is, how does discussion help us to understand what we are reading? And the goal is to discuss the mob scene for deeper understanding of craft and structure of the text. What level questions are craft and structure questions? Sydney?
Level 2.
Level 2 questions, exactly. And those are the types of questions that you answered for homework. So the first, round one of the discussion today is almost like a practice round, where you're going to be talking to your partner and discussing with your partner the questions and the annotations that you made. On the back side of your summarization pyramid is where I want you to take notes for the discussion when we get back together, when we come back together as a whole group. So what you'll want to do is you want to come up with, 2 or 3 questions that you can pose to the whole group for discussion later. And then also write down any notes of any discoveries that you make with your partner. And you take this on the back of the summarization pyramid, which I will, once we turn all of the stuff from closed reading in, that will be graded as well. Question?
So you want the questions to be level 2?
I would like the questions to be level 2 or level 3. Good question. Okay. So you and your assigned partner will have a focused discussion about the excerpt and embedded level 2 questions in the text. Use the back of the summarization pyramid to write down notes or questions you want to discuss further. Each student should take his or her own notes, so not just one person in every group takes notes, every single individual takes notes. And this exercise is to prepare you for the bigger discussion. Yes? Got it? Okay. So I will start the timer, and I'll be coming around to monitor your progress. And the timer begins now.
Something was Atticus left in the middle of the night with a cord, which was weird. And then he never goes away to the courthouse and not like
Atticus in the middle of the night. So Jim.
And I said that he took the car instead of walking because it said Atticus left the house, but they were concerned because he left in the car and usually he walks. So I thought. Scout said everyone in Maycomb knows that Atticus walks everywhere, and then when was driving, they knew something was wrong.
At the jail in the middle of the night. I said because that's when most people are home and off the streets, and you it's hard to identify them, because it's like darkness clouding them.
Well, also, I think he would have suspected that, someone would try to rally up to him night before the court case. Knowing the people in Maycomb are, the kind of people that are people that were against, racial, tall,
They would usually go the day before the trial and
And then so the one with the irony is kind of ironic because they're here to almost revive him, but then they still respect him enough to whisper when he tells them to be quiet.
for the how does this change things? Whenever he says, that's just hard for me, but I put it changes the way everything that turns out.
Because even if Boy Scout would witness
Because of having police backup,
he doesn't want the mob to think he's hostile towards them or wants to harm them in any way.
He's kind of asking them questions.
Why is Jim refusing to go home? And I said because he was scared for Atticus and didn't want him to get hurt.
I thought that because he thought something may happen to Atticus, but somehow he could stop it if he was there. Like the mob wouldn't harm his father if he was there. Like, the mob was sent him over.
I probably thought that he didn't know who it was.
Now that we have finished our partner discussion, our small group discussion, we're going on to the large group discussion. Thank you for rearranging the desks into a circle so we can all see each other and hear each other, right? Before we go on to round 2, can anyone tell me, we're going to revisit the essential question, How does discussion help us dig below the surface meaning of the text? Allison?
Well, you can kind of listen to other people's ideas, maybe things you didn't think about when you were reading too.
Okay. Can you give me an example of something that you and Maddie talked about in your group that maybe you didn't see, but when Maddie brought it up, it helped you understand something?
Well, we were kind of talking about the scout's attitude towards the when she came in at the mob, and she was talking about like how her innocence kind of is what made them back off, maybe.
Okay, great example. Okay, so round 2, we're going to transition into the large group discussion. You get 20 minutes, so that's the longest that y'all ever had to talk before. And this is very similar to Socratic discussion, except there's no outer circle. Everyone is involved in the inner circle. And a couple things. Use the topics and questions to guide your discussion, all right? For the discussions you had in small group, use those topics to guide this discussion. Each student is expected to contribute and participate in the large group discussion. Focus on the text. If you have something to say, make sure you can back it up with evidence from To Kill a Mockingbird. And let's stay on that excerpt, the mob scene excerpt. And also, the big question, how does the author craft and structure the text to force the reader to dig deeper into the story? What writing techniques does Harper Lee use to help you understand the meaning of the text and the bigger ideas? Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start, get the timer ready. You all need to be looking at your questions and your notes that you took. Be thinking of what you are going to talk about. And the timer starts now.
Okay, what I wanted to start off with was in my group we talked about how whenever the mob was there and Atticus, he stood up, but he was moving slowly and carefully. Something that we talked about was why he moved slowly and carefully. And I said that maybe, whenever there's like, you're put in front of like an animal that's like dangerous, like, or potentially dangerous, you always want to move slowly, not to like alarm them or make them want to like pounce on you or something, like if there was like a tiger in front of you. And so I said that like in this case, Atticus probably moved the way he did to show that he wasn't going to hurt anyone. He was like trying to be like calm and like subtle about what he was doing. So that's just one of the points that we brought out in my group.
I thought you were just kind of trying to examine the situation, I guess.
Yeah, maybe he was also moving slowly and carefully to like show them that he like wasn't scared or anything, so that he was like calm and collected.
Well, to go along with him moving slowly and carefully, they said like the mob was whispering. We weren't really sure why they were whispering because there's no one really around. It was the middle of the night, so.
I think they were just kind of respecting. It was ironic because like they're trying to kill Tom Robinson, but at the same time like they're respecting him, like he's asleep, so they're trying to stay quiet and not wake him up. It's just ironic.
Going back to why Atticus was moving slowly, I thought that it could be that he was like very proud of himself and egotistical, and he wanted to show them that he wasn't really affected by them being there, and that he was, he was strong and wanted to present himself in such a way.
He probably didn't want to seem eager when he.
Alright, so I'm still kind of confused. I know that Jim wanted to act like a man, but like after Atticus kept telling him to go, he wouldn't go. So I want to hear you guys' insight on that.
I think maybe Jim he wanted to show Atticus that he was growing up and he wanted to show that he was like mature, because all throughout this book it talks about how Jim is going through that stage of like adulthood, like where he's hitting that adulthood. So I just think he just wanted to show Atticus that he doesn't want him to get hurt. He wants to be there for him, like kind of like in the man in the house, like how you take charge. He wants to like take that position, so he wants to be there for Atticus to help him like in a situation where it's tough for him.
And I also think Jim like knew something was wrong, because earlier in the book it said that Atticus took a car to the jail instead of walking, and it said that Atticus likes to walk. So I think Jim kind of like sensed that something was wrong.
Right, and also like whenever
somebody tells you to leave the room because they have to tell this other person like a secret, you always go like, "Oh, actually, I really want to know what they're going to talk about." So Jem's curiosity kind of led into that.
I think Atticus wasn't as hard on Jem maybe because he probably understood why he wanted to stay, and I think he also kind of wanted him to be there and scout too.
What else do we know about Dill? About Dill's background that might affect how he interacts with Atticus.
He has a strong authority. Like Atticus can be his a dad because like he obviously doesn't have very good like guidance with his parents. Like Atticus like shows that he cares for his kids and he can like he respects that.
He probably knows to respect him more and I guess appreciate what he was doing for them, and I guess he probably respected Scout and Jem more after that too.
We have about 20 seconds left. Do I have any volunteers that would like to kind of summarize the high points of what we talked about today?
Okay. I think that we talked about a lot of character development between Atticus and Jem and Scout and Dill, and how their backgrounds go into affect this whole fight scene and their actions within it.
Okay. Thank you, Max. All right, last thing we're going to do today is you're going to get out your C2 notebook and turn to the reflection section. You can call this TKAM large group discussion. And I'd like you to just write out for the remainder of the period. We've got about 4 minutes left. I'd like you to, number one, summarize what we discussed today. Make a list to prepare you for tomorrow for the writing prompt, the level 3 writing prompt. List what big ideas of the passage there are. Life lessons, themes, reoccurring images. Got it? So you're just going to kind of recap what we talked about. Big ideas, life lessons, questions that you have for tomorrow, and any other ideas that you want to write down from today in your reflection section of your notebook. Make sure you enter it into the table of contents. Y'all did a really great job of discussion today. I'm very proud of you.